Alrighty, everybody, good evening, welcome back. Super excited about this cook, but you can see what we got in front of us. We have a USDA prime brisket in front of us, and these are a rarity to find. You know, the prime grade briskets are hard to find in the, can you see that again? Sure, I'm just excited, so I gotta show you the prime twice. But the USDA prime choice, or the prime cuts of brisket, are somewhat hard to find around here. I do have one place I find them, but you have to buy them by the case, which I've said it before and I'll say it again. Just don't threaten me with that good of a time, because I'll buy this stuff by the case every time I can see it. Because one interesting note about prime brisket and choice brisket, at least in this part of Minnesota or the U.S., is it's all about the same. It's all about that $3.48 a pound range. So prime brisket, we're going to cook this on a Rectech Mini. And, you know, I've been on a hot and fast kick lately, and we're not going to do hot and fast. We're going to do low and slow. Actually, we're going to do a little more than low and slow. We're going to do this at 200 degrees the whole time. It's only about 6 o'clock at night. So this is going to go for at least, I would say, 15 to 18 hours, because this is about a 15-pound brisket. Really easy to get this prepped up. I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the package. And then we're going to use a binder tonight. We're going to use some of this Lee and Perrines, or whatever you want to say, the W sauce. And then we're going to use this stuff. Use this on the tomahawk ribeye. If you watched that video the other night, the Suckle Busters Texas Brisket Rub. Really good stuff. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I really like the Suckle Busters. Everything I've had out of them so far has been fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get this thing prepped up, and I will probably pick back up one more time. Or I'll pick back up before I throw it on the grill. So we'll see you then. Alrighty, so we are back at the brisket all trimmed up and rubbed up. Like we said, we used the W sauce tonight as a binder. And then once again, this Suckle Busters Texas Brisket Rub. Again, just go ahead and show you. Remember the slogan there, no bad stuff. So how can something like this be bad if it's got that logo on it that says no bad stuff? But in all honesty, it's really good stuff. Gonna go ahead and let this kind of just sit out here, probably for about, I don't know, 20-30 minutes or so. And I will pick back up when we're throwing it on the grill. We're going to try to fit this on a Rectech Mini. I'm pretty sure it'll fit. It might be a little tight, but should be all right. We're going to cook with the fat cap up tonight. I usually, you know, like I said, I've been on a hot and fast kick, and I always do fat cap down and hot and fast. So I was like, well, what the hell? I'll do fat cap up on a low and slow. So besides that, we will see when we're done with the Rectech. Alrighty, so we are back. Just put the brisket on. See, she's smoking away just nice. And yeah, it was a bit of a tight fit. You can see I got the point kind of towards the right side, because the right side of this thing does just cook a little bit warmer. Then we got the flat on the left side. But like I said, we're going to cook this thing at 200 the whole night. And I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down, and I am not going to open this thing back up for at least 10 to 12 hours. So the next time I open it up, we will see you then. So have a good night, and we'll see you in the morning. So we are back, and brisket's been on for about 9 hours. It's about 4:35 in the morning here, and I'll give you a quick peek. You can see it's a little moist there from where I pulled the probe out, but I got the bark set where I want. Internal temp on a brisket right now is at about 170-ish, and that's usually where I wrap my briskets and my butts. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. I'm going to keep the fat cap up while I'm doing this. That was good. And I'm going to go ahead and stick this right back on the Rectech. And I'm going to let this thing finish off to about probe tender. For me, probe tender on briskets, usually around that we'll just say 200 to 210 range. Sometimes it's like 201, 202. Other times it's like 208, 209. But let's go back on the Rectech at 200. Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Good morning again. We're back. Brisket's done. It's been on, this is about a 12 and a half hour cook. A little disappointed in that. I wanted to do this thing at 200 and put this thing on for at least like, I don't know, 16 to 18 hours, right in that ballpark range, but it's done in 12 and a half hours. The internal temp probe is more or less just a guideline for me. I know it's done when I can take when I can take my temp probe and I can stick it through, and it's, it goes like it sticks through. It's probe tender. That's how I know this thing's done. So what we're gonna have to go ahead and do is I have a preheated cooler here. Preheated meaning that I have about 2 big pans full of scalding hot water in the cooler. I close it down. It's been closed probably for about 45 minutes. So that way it gets the cooler nice and warm when you put the brisket in it. So I'm gonna stuff some towels in there. I'm gonna put the brisket in that disposable pan, and then cover the brisket with towels, and I'm gonna let this rest. I'm probably gonna let this thing rest for at least, I'd say anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, just because I want to have it for dinner tonight and at 7:30 in the morning. So a couple reasons why this brisket might have cooked quicker. I always kind of anticipate things that take longer, and if they get done quicker, you kind of just got to go with it. It's not that big of a deal. A big cut of meat's really easy to let rest. But 2 reasons come to mind. It's either that the internal temp of the rec tag is off just a little bit, which if it is, it's really cool, because with the new controller I have, there's a bunch of settings that you can change on it. I'm not going to mess with the pellet feed rate, but you can actually adjust it, plus or minus. Say you stick a third-party temp probe in there and it's 20 degrees hotter, I believe you would put it at plus 20% or something like that. So I can change it if I want. I'm not sure if I'm gonna. It cooks just fine like it is. And the big thing for me is that I know from the little bit of testing I did with the new controller with internal temp probes that there's not the temp swings. The temp swings drive me crazy, and you just don't get that with the Rectech because it's got the nice PID controller. And then the other reason why is with the barbecue. Sometimes I've had 10, 12 pound briskets take like 15, 16 hours. Other times, like yesterday, I cooked a 15-ish pound before trim brisket at 200, and it got done in 12 and a half hours. It's just kind of how it goes. Did I want to get up at 4:30 in the morning this morning? Yeah, who doesn't? No, I didn't want to get up at 4:30 in the morning, but I did. It wasn't that big of a deal. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing off. I'm going to let it rest. I am going to stick my Maverick XR50 in the brisket while it's in the cooler, just so I can keep an eye on what the temps are there. And if it gets a little too cool, I might throw it in the oven on keep warm. I've had to rest briskets like that before. So now besides that, I'm going to sign off. I will pick back up one more time when we're slicing into this, so we'll see you then. Alrighty, so we are back, and it's time to slice into this thing. Real quick, going to go over the cook times. This total cook time for the brisket was 12 and a half hours. We did 9 hours wrapped and 3.5 hours unwrapped, all at 200 degrees. And then I let it rest, actually, for 10 and a half hours. The first 5 hours was in a cooler, preheated cooler, and then the temp dropped to about 155. And then a nice little trick I learned to rest the brisket is keep it in the foil, and then turn your oven to keep warm, let it get preheated. Keep warm's like 170, 180. And put your brisket in there for about an hour, and then shut your oven off, and then your brisket will rest for a long, long, long time. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with. It worked. So, besides that, the internal on the brisket, when I pulled it off, in the flat, probably around 203 to 204. It's just probe tender. Probe tender is what I go off of. So let's, without further ado, let's go ahead and cut into this thing. I got the toothpick in there to slice against the grain. With the brisket, I always put the toothpick in there. And let's go ahead and do it. Sorry, the dog is getting kind of alerted. Go ahead and take a peek at one of these pieces here. Oh yeah, looking pretty brisket-like. See if I can get a good close-up there. Looking pretty good. See how the pull test does? Pulls right apart. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Wow, that is fantastic. I just want to make this mention one more time about that Sucklebusters rub. I used the Sucklebusters Texas brisket rub on this, and it is fantastic. Take a look at another piece here. Let's see if I can do one. See if the bend test is going to break, but that's fine. The brisket's tender. I'm going to go ahead and eat. That Sucklebusters rub is awesome. You guys and girls have a good night, and we will see you next time.